Right, I'm going to have to take this all the way back to when it all started. All the way to 23rd of May 2018, when the reveal trailer for Battlefield 5 came out. The trailer was mental. I had no idea what the hell was I watching. Was I looking at multiplayer gameplay? The part in the trailer where an NPC throws a grenade and your character shoots it in mid-air looked pretty scripted. Was I looking at single-player campaign? What the heck, EA? Then it was the woman with the prosthetic arm and the British accent that caught my attention. It looked out of place. She felt out of place. But I pushed all that issue aside thinking, maybe I'll get to know more about her when I play the game. Maybe she's not a soldier, but she's fighting because she wants to. The campaign missions will probably reveal more. I ignored all those points and went on to have fun at MCM Comic Con London, which was mega fun. Beneath all the explosions, I thought the trailer was alright. It looked tense, it looked jam-packed with frantic action. It looked promising, so I saw it again. And again. But the more I saw it, the more confused I got. Annoyed even. I didn't notice the samurai sword on the soldier's back before, but I did later. Same goes for the blue paint on some characters' faces. I had no idea what the hell was I looking at. And when I was coming back from London, that's when all the news began to hit the net. All these articles coming out, trying to shame gamers if they had a problem with a woman on the front lines. I'm not going to quote any article in particular here because I'm not going to be talking about them. Polygon, Kotaku, that's what these news outlets do. These left-leaning gaming media was, of course, going to support it. That didn't piss me off. What pissed me off was this article. Women in Battlefield 5. Accept it, EA says, or don't buy the game. Electronic Arts' Patrick Soderlund says the people lashing out against women in the new Battlefield trailer are uneducated. Now, pre-ordering is a big deal in the gaming industry. Pre-ordering a game digitally just doesn't mean that you as a gamer get to play the game the moment the clock hits 12 o'clock. It means a lot to the developers and publishers like EA because they're getting your money before the game is even out. That is a very profitable way to see how excited people are about the newest chapter in the series. Turns out, not many are interested in Battlefield 5. According to VG247, Battlefield 5's pre-orders so far have been weak, below Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, no shit, Sherlock. If your head honcho Patrick Soderlund is going to come out and call the critics of his project uneducated so he could make the newest Battlefield game inclusive and just shit upon the existing fan base by telling them to not buy it if they're not interested, well, guess what, asshole? They ain't gonna pre-order the game. Now, I personally had no problem with the female character. I was looking forward to knowing more about her when the game releases. My problem was the way the entire situation was handled by EA and Patrick Soderlund in particular. Of course, the gaming media was going to take a pot shot at gamers for bringing that issue of historical accuracy up. There were no doubts there. But this is what pissed me off. In an article published on VG247, Soderlund said, "This is something that the development team pushed," Soderlund told Gamasutra during an E3 interview. Battlefield 5 is a lot about the unseen, the untold, the unplayed. The common perception is that there were no women in World War II. There were a ton of women who both fought in World War II and partook in the war. After explaining the creative reasoning, Soderlund moved into personal examples. I have a 13-year-old daughter that when the trailer came out and saw all the flack, she asked me, "Dad, why is this happening?" He continued. "She plays Fortnite and says, 'I can be a girl in Fortnite. Why are people so upset about this?' I just said, 'You know what? You're right. This is not okay. These are people who are uneducated. They don't understand that this is a plausible scenario. Listen, this is a game, and today gaming is gender diverse, like it hasn't been before. There are a lot of female people who want to play, and male players who want to play as a badass woman. And we don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause because I think those people who don't understand it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either. It's just not okay." I have worked in retail business for more than 10 years now, and yes, I have been pushed to my limits on more than one occasion, but there's a fine line between reassuring your customers in such a fashion that resolves an issue and just blatantly insulting your customers by calling them names. Yeah, true, I don't like some of my customers because they are knobheads, but I'm not going to say that to their face, and I'm definitely not going to issue a public statement against those idiots and just tell them to take their business elsewhere. Because when you tell your customers to take their business elsewhere, chances are they will. And if there's a competition out there from rival businesses, they will capitalize on it. Now, I'm not going to call those gamers knobheads who disagree with DICE and their decision to include a British female soldier with a prosthetic arm on the front line in Battlefield 5 as the main lead character. They have their issue with the game, which are understandable. They have every reason to believe that EA and DICE may be pandering to social justice, the whole SJW crowd. The crowd that complains about the games but never plays them. Heck, even I think like that now after reading Patrick's statement about making games more inclusive and stuff. What Soderlund should have done was issue a sincere and reassuring statement to gamers asking them to wait till the game comes out, that the female character will make sense when the gamers will get the chance to play the campaign mode, that her presence is totally justified in the game, and you will see when you play the war stories that we are not pandering to SJWs and we are not including her just because we want to, but because we want to tell a story in the campaign mode and she plays an important role in that story. But instead, he decided to call his critics uneducated and insulted them by indirectly calling them misogynists. And that pissed me off, because if Soderlund had issued the statement that went along the lines of what I just said now, I would have been excited about the game. I would have wanted to know more about the story DICE was willing to tell. But Soderlund's statement made it sound like that she's just there because gaming is now diverse and inclusive. And if you don't like what you see, then don't buy our product. Well, be careful what you ask for, asshole, because you might get it. Now, there is something interesting in the same VG247 article that caught my attention. Pre-orders are only helpful in estimating day one sales, and they're not as helpful now as they used to be even for that. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on pre-orders for forecasting in 2018. Now, this is the most important part here. I think on day one, Battlefield 5 is not going to push a lot of sales, but over time, it will build up momentum thanks to gaming media coverage, those corporate shills that will lap up anything in the name of feminism and equality, and of course, Twitch streaming. EA will push for those and more after the game is released. But even now, and I was thinking about it when I was writing the script for this video, I realized that we have not seen much of Battlefield 5 at all. All we have seen is the reveal trailer, which is more confusing than my ex-girlfriend and her choice in men, that event with Trevor Noah in it, can't stand that smug son of a bitch, and the little highlight at E3. I mean, Anthem had more stage presence than Battlefield 5, and Anthem is coming out next year. We haven't seen much of it, whereas other publishers who are also releasing their games in the same launch window are revealing more about their games. Rockstar showed some gameplay footage of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is looking sick, and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 got a multiplayer beta. The wheels seem to be in motion for other games, but for Battlefield 5, at the time of me writing the script, which is on the 19th of August 2018, we haven't seen much of at all. Update: EA did release a new trailer at Gamescom titled Devastation of Rotherham, which looks cool. Also, remember the chick with the prosthetic arm? Well, she doesn't have it in the new trailer. But more than the trailer, I loved the comments. World War II Political Correctness Edition. World War Feminist. COD, let's make a politically correct game. Battlefield, hold my beer. EA, I would like to pre-order this game, but I was told by the developers that I'm too uneducated for it. So I guess I'm going to have to buy another game instead. Battlefield Soy. I like that. This game trailer should have a disclaimer. May contain content inappropriate for uneducated people. Good thing Battlefield 5's pre-order sales are poor. We uneducated gamers surely know a thing. I'm too uneducated to buy the game, sorry. If EA DICE had released this trailer originally, a lot more people would have been hyped. This trailer, good. The first one, blah. It doesn't help the fact that Battlefield 5, which is set to release on the 16th of October, is sandwiched right in between Call of Duty releasing on the 12th of October and Red Dead Redemption 2, which is coming out on the 26th of the same month, at least in the UK. Not sure about the US or other regions. So if the VG 24/7 article is to be believed, then it looks like a lot of people are going to go for COD and Red Dead Redemption 2, and both of these games have the potential to hold on to players. I mean, seriously, take a look at GTA 5. Grand Theft Auto Online is still raking in players years after its release. So things aren't looking good for Battlefield 5, and the news came out just a day after it was revealed that Patrick Soderlund has left the company. Now the timing of his departure is little odd, I must say. If you are doubling down on a project to the point where you have pissed off a lot of people in the fan base, the people who would have bought the game and supported it, unlike those social justice warriors and corporate shills who can't even play Doom, where you're supposed to feel like a badass because you're playing as a Doomslayer and you can't even aim straight, you think he'll stick around till the game releases. But he left 2 full months before the game came out. Some say the reason Soderlund quit is because he could see it written on the walls in crimson red that Battlefield 5 is going to bomb, and that's why he left. According to CNBC, analysts predict EA's Battlefield 5 will be a serious disappointment, says pre-orders lag Call of Duty by more than 85%. Cohen believes EA's Battlefield 5 game may put the company's financial guidance at risk. The firm's analyst said pre-orders for Battlefield 5 are tracking more than 85% behind Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which is substantially worse than previous instances. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 titles lagged Call of Duty by about 20% to 40%, and Battlefield 1 actually tracked ahead of Call of Duty at this point before launch. But I think there's more to it than this. First up is the whole Battlefront 2 loot box debacle. Battlefront 2 was made by DICE, and the loot box controversy did damage the reputation of EA a lot. So of course Patrick Soderlund would have had to bear some sort of responsibility. Then the Battlefield 5's take it or leave it approach that pissed off the fans. At the end of the day, EA is a company that operates on profits, and if there's someone out there who is hurting the sales of a product with an opinion or a statement, that is not going to fly well with the investors and the higher ups. And of course, the low pre-orders and the stiff competition means that Battlefield 5 is going to struggle with sales, which is going to affect the company even more, something that EA was not hoping for after the Battlefront 2 debacle. That game is dead. Battlefront 2 is not going to make them any profit now. But the problem doesn't stop there. If Battlefield 5 bombs at retail, then it might affect other EA games lined up for launch, which also includes Anthem, and that game is set to have no loot boxes as well. Now, BioWare is already on live support. Actually, no, they're not. They'll probably churn out one more turd, which will be a Dragon Age game. But Anthem, I don't have much high hopes with it. And I think a lot of gamers out there feel the same way. I think Anthem won't have any loot boxes to begin with, but after a few months they will sneak in, which will go against EA's initial announcement of not having any loot boxes at all. But that's what I think really. Maybe Soderlund was made to quit after EA higher-ups realized how much he messed up and how this one mess is going to affect another game which is already shaping up to be a real disappointment. I mean, seriously, Anthem is like that child you look at and think, why the heck did your mother not swallow you? But unfortunately, the damage has been done and I won't be buying the game just so I can rest easy knowing that I never gave my money to a company over a product that disrespected its fan base. But hey, if you like the trailer and have no issues with it, then yeah, go ahead. Buy the game. I won't have anything against you. But if you're one of those who were offended by Patrick Soderlund's statement and now feel that just because he's not part of the company so you should buy it, don't. Please don't. I think EA has gone in damage control mode and that's what they want you to do. If you made a decision of not buying the game before, then at least be true to yourself and stick to that decision. I may be uneducated to buy Battlefield 5, but I am educated enough to pre-order Red Dead Redemption 2 and that's what I'm gonna do.